Touchdown. Third of the day for Alvin Kamara as fantasy owners rejoice. Malcolm Brown. Oh, what a hole. His second of the game. Touchdown. 34 yards for Daniel Jones. Devontae Adams. Touchdown. Cup. He'll be arriving in the end zone. Oh, he stepped out of bounds at the 1 to run the rest of the game clock out. Jenkins Stone. Jeff Punt, baby. It is good, baby. Matt Prater sends it through from 59 yards out. And it is caught. Adam Thielen with a left-handed grab. The Pittsburgh Steelers remain unbeaten with a decisive win. Murray back to throw. Slips the tackle. Jump ball. DeAndre Hopkins caught it. You can't overdo touchdown. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
Welcome to Game Debut presented by Mercedes-Benz. It is Sunday morning. I got my coffee. We got football. We got Cynthia Freeland. We got Greg Rosenthal. Things are about to get underway, and I can't wait. First off, Cynthia, how are you doing this Sunday?
You know, I don't have a coffee, so I guess I'm not doing as well as both of you.
How about you, Greg?
I'm great. I'm feeling like I'm not going to forget anything this show. That's how I always feel.
All right, well, you always feel that every Sunday, so we'll put a tab on that. All right, we're going to start things off with the Titans at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored in this one by 6 points. We're going to start right picks. I'm going to go with the Ravens. The biggest question that we're looking for is, will they be able to stop Derrick Henry? We've seen what he did to them in the playoffs a year ago. Obviously, this season he has not fallen off. He is still very much the same Derrick Henry from last year. But the Ravens defense, I mean, I think they're up for the task. The biggest question mark, as is every week with them, especially against good teams, is will Lamar Jackson look like Lamar Jackson? Cynthia, what are you looking for?
Well, you set me up perfectly, and then I'm going to also top that with a little shameless self-promotion. I wrote an article on NFL.com about Lamar Jackson and what they're doing with this Greg Roman offense, and his lack of passing options has really been a prohibitive factor this season. They've run a lot of the same plays back-to-back, so like, you know, most teams have an overlap of sequencing of about 25%. The Ravens are at 42%. So they need to get these passing options figured out. This could be a good game to do it because that Titans defense, will they give up the passing yards? Greg, what do you have?
Ooh, I'm talking Lamar too, because I see the people out there. I have the Ravens winning 28-24. I see the people telling on themselves, put it all on Lamar, and it hasn't been the best season, but the last game that they played in Foxborough, I thought Lamar Jackson actually played very well, and this matchup sets up so perfectly. Jadeveon Clowney went to IR. Adoree Jackson is a great quarterback for the Titans that they have missed all year, so I think both defenses could struggle in this game. If you look at my score, it's got a lot of scoring, so I think it might be one of those, you know, we've got to do more or less. I think it's going to be more in Ravens-Titans, and I think the Ravens are going to get to it. I see the side, Hawk. I mean, this is the most unforgettable part of the show. I would never forget about proper performance. Thank you. That's what you made me do.
Well, I forgot about my own Freeland's finest, so we're starting off real strong here today. But first and foremost, Derrick Henry will have fewer than 85 rushing yards against the Ravens. Why? Well, it's really for what you just pointed out, Greg. They're going to need to keep throwing the ball because I have a close game projected. This is an opportunity where the Titans defense could be a little bit vulnerable, meaning they're still going to have to pass the ball, meaning more A.J. Brown and less Derrick Henry. And now on the other side, Lamar Jackson will have more than 221 passing yards. Why? Well, I really think that they take those opportunities to target Adoree Jackson, things of that nature. So no Jadeveon Clowney needs fewer pressure. Lamar Jackson passes the ball for more than 221 yards. I messed it up, not you, Greg. Thank you. What's next?
All right, let's get into the Eagles and the Browns. The Browns are favored by 2.5. First, though, I want to look at that sign. Do you still have it, Hawk, right there? Because, you know, I had to switch the monitor, and I just want to check the spelling on Cynthia's name.
It definitely said Cynthia.
Oh, come on. We've been doing a show together.
There's definitely an H missing.
Can't even spell Cynthia's name right. Who's the punk now? All right, I'm going to take the Browns in this game. Let's move on to the score. I have the Browns 24-22, which is we're trying to thread the needle here. I think this is going to be a thread the needle game for Cynthia and I, where we take the team expected to win, but it's going to be close. And as we've gotten closer to game time, the more obvious it is that, again, the Browns are going to be affected by weather. It's rainy there, it's cold, and that favors the run game. I like this Browns running game against the Eagles defense that I expected to be great this year, and they've just been okay. They're not a great defense. What do you think, Cynthia?
I think sloppy track. I totally agree about favoring the run game. I have a 25-23, so exactly the same as yours. We're going to thread that needle. And that 25-23 is really because Miles Sanders is also going to have a good game. If you looked at last week's game, if they would have just used Miles Sanders a little bit more, the score probably wouldn't have been not the Eagles' favor. So in this situation against the Browns without Myles Garrett, this is going to be an opportunity for Miles Sanders to just, show what he's got. It's going to be a great day for fantasy owners for him. What do you have there, Hawk? H-A-K, Hawk.
Hack, H-A-K is more like it. All right, so I'm going with the Browns. I'm not going to let you trick me and peer pressure me into not going with my Browns. So that's a real thing. My biggest question mark is around Carson Wentz, man. I mean, they got a lot of weapons back last week. We were told all year long the injuries are the reason why he hasn't looked the way he should. So that's what I'm looking for. Is he going to look like the franchise quarterback that we've seen of old? Now, I guess this Browns team, to your point, Greg, is an incredible running game. And with the weather the way it is in Cleveland, the Browns are legit. Here's their chance to prove it. In 2014, they went 6-3 as well. I was on that team. We dropped the majority of the next game. So I'm not going to celebrate quite yet on the Browns. But Browns, next game up. All right, we're going with the Falcons at the Saints. The Saints are favored in this one by 3.5. I am going with the Saints. Taysom Hill is starting. That's the biggest question mark. What are we going to get out of the $16 million man? There's been some reports that there could be, you might see a little bit of everything. I don't know. I'm still going with them. I think overall as a team, they are just a more talented football team at this point. What do you guys think?
I totally have the same thing. I have only a 4-point win, 28-24 in this one. The interesting part is Marshawn Lattimore is also not supposed to play. So on the other side of the ball, that gives Matt Ryan in this offense a much better opportunity to complete some passes because Lattimore has been nasty in coverage. So if you look to see, the Saints have given up some passing yards, but now they've got 2 opportunities to give up passing yards. So that could keep the game nice and close. 4-point win for Taysom Hill, and we got to think of like another way for him, a nickname for Taysom Hill.
I'm glad they brought in Taysom Hill because it made me pick the Falcons this week, and I can catch up a game on you guys. I have a 1-point victory. I think there'll be plenty of offense. Marshawn Lattimore being out, as you mentioned, Cynthia, is a huge deal. And I love these reports that are coming out this morning. Some in the organization, including a lot of the players, not so confident in Taysom Hill. They wanted to see Jameis. Ian Rappaport said Taysom Hill looked like he was pretty nervous in practice early this week. Ooh, that is a bad sign. Calvin Ridley's coming back for the Falcons. I really like this Falcons pick this week. Cynthia, give me some proper performances in this game, please.
All right, so properly speaking, Matt Ryan will have more than 283 passing yards. What did we just say? We both talked about Marshawn Lattimore being out. Hence, let's go Matty Ice from Boston College, my alma mater. Okay, next up, Alvin Kamara. This one seems simple too. He's going to have more than 51 rush yards. You know why? Because Taysom Hill's starting. And actually, even if Taysom Hill weren't starting, he'd have more than 51. This is an opportunity for them to keep the ball on the ground and prevent turnovers. You know who doesn't want a turnover? Any team. So Alvin Kamara more than 51 rush yards. What do we have next?
Let's do a little pass. Little Texans. Scott's favored by 2. I can't read that in my monitor, so someone's going to have to do it for me. But it looks beautiful, Hawk, no matter what it is.
It's
Patriots
corrected.
are favored. You corrected
My
it.
son, he corrected it. He put the H in there. So we're good now. Thanks,
At
Austin.
least someone
Thanks,
in the Hawkins family knows how to spell. I do like the self-promotion, too, on the jersey, on the sweatshirt today. It looks beautiful.
It's so I don't spell it wrong, Greg.
Patriots are favored by 2 in this game. I got them winning by 4. I don't feel 100% confident in the Patriots each week, but they do get a great mismatch when they go up against the Texans' rush defense. The Patriots, they have one of the best running games in the league. Cam Newton is a huge part of it, but Damian Harris is a big part of it. You have Rex Burkhead having a career season. Sony Michel is actually healthy for this game. He hasn't been around for a long time. You got my guy, James White, who had a game-winning 2-point conversion and a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Still doesn't get that much love. Patriots run all over the Texans.
You know, I thought that when I was thinking about this from my gut, but the model says otherwise. And that's even with Stephon Gilmore and Sony Michel being both active and presumably playing. Not 100% sure yet, but that's with both. I have 24-23 Texans. Eke out a narrow victory. Texans always play the Patriots tough. There's a lot of familiarity between coaching staff on this one. You know that guy, Brandon Cooks? I love a good revenge narrative. Who doesn't love a good revenge narrative? So for me, this one, Brandon Cooks could be a sneaky good fantasy pick in this game. Hawks, break the tie.
I love it. I love it. I'm going with the Texans. I'm with the model, and it makes me feel even better about my pick. Deshaun Watson has historically played not just good, extremely well against the Patriots. His speed has just been a lot for their defense to handle, right? And even in his rookie year, this was kind of his coming out game, and it made everybody say, oh, this kid is legit. That's continued. I expect that this week as well, and the Texans to pull off the upset. All right, well, we're going to take a little break here. I'm going to get some more studying lessons from my son. Greg is going to remember to talk to Cynthia when the time is ready. So here we go. Thank you, Cynthia.
Back on Game Day View, it's time for Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Through 10 weeks, Cynthia's lead is 3 games over Hawk and 5 games over Greg. I just have to say, apropos of absolutely nothing, Rosenthal is definitely the weakest link on this show. That was Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
I'm catching up.
Greg, your rebuttal.
We're catching up. Cynthia had a huge lead. Now it's getting a little closer. There you go. 2 G's and Greg, by the way. That's 60% G total. If you add it all up, three and all.
Thanks to Cynthia in the break, we've now fixed the G as well. We're getting better. We're getting better with our picks. We're getting better with our spelling, which is a perfect segue to the Chiefs at the Raiders. The Chiefs are favored by 7.5. Will they get better from when the first time they played and the Raiders pulled the upset? I'm picking the Chiefs. I think they will. That game was an anomaly, not only for this offense, but Patrick Mahomes. He threw his only pick of the season. The biggest differentiator was the O-line. Are they going to be able to protect him? They were not able to do so in the first game, and the Raiders were only sending 3 and 4 at a time, which helped their defensive back stay on their heels and play it safe. That'll be the difference maker. We know there's some injuries on their O-line, so that's what I'm going to be questioning. If they can't protect them, it could be another long day. What do you guys think?
Okay, so you're going to see on your screen 32-25 because that's an official kind of before the show starts. So this is why you got to tune into the show, because now that we've seen, okay, once we see that the Raiders D-line will play and they're supposed to, everything has said that that's going to happen. That still actually shifts a little bit in the Chiefs' favor. I know that sounds crazy, but they haven't practiced all week together. They don't have a great opportunity to stop Patrick Mahomes. And especially with how good the Chiefs' passing defense is, they're going to have a hard time replicating that Derek Carr over 100 passer rating, had a better passer rating, better stats than Patrick Mahomes in the last matchup. It isn't going to happen today. I have a big win for the Chiefs. Right now you're seeing 7, but just crank that up a little bit, probably 9. What do you have?
Crank it up.
60% G?
Just crank it up right next to you, and I got an 11-point win. I feel good about it. This is a game where I think the Chiefs roll. Even though the Raiders have a lot of their defensive players back, it's not a great defense. I think the Chiefs' defense is better. You're looking at Chris Jones, who to me has been as good a pass rusher as any defensive tackle other than Aaron Donald, and I just think the Chiefs are more complete, and the Raiders are tough, but they're not, hey, we just lost our whole defense for a week of practice and we're going to beat the Chiefs 2 times in a season tough. They're not at that level yet. Cynthia's at the level of giving us some proper performances. Thank you, Hawk.
Wow. I honestly, that's the upset of the week, that you didn't miss proper performances once. Tyreek Hill will have more than 88 receiving yards against the Raiders. You just talked about that defense being vulnerable and a lot of different potential areas to target. Well, Tyreek Hill will exploit them. Even though Mecole Hardman is active, there's no Sammy Watkins, so you're going to need a lot of shares of Tyreek Hill. And then on the other side of the ball, Josh Jacobs, who's awesome. These are only rushing yards we're talking about. He's going to have fewer than 76 rushing yards. Seems a little weird because the Chiefs do give up a bunch of rushing yards, but remember, Josh Jacobs is going to have to get away from Chris Jones. They're all going to have to get away from Chris Jones, so you know the best way to escape pressure are short passes to Josh Jacobs and not rushing yards on the ground, so fewer than 76 of those. Hey, do you think Chris Jones has like Aaron Donald, like he has like a Marsha Brady type thing where he thinks about that? Because I think that's our next game.
I mean, he's got almost Aaron Donald money, so I think he's happy. He's got a Super Bowl ring, and we'll be watching Aaron Donald on Monday night. It's Rams Bucks. This is the best slate of primetime games of the season, by the way. We already had a nice Seahawks Cardinals and then 2 more good ones. The Bucks are favored by 4. I have the Bucks winning by 5 because when their defense goes off, sometimes it's just for 15, 20 minutes at a time, but they just straight dominate and they take over the game, and suddenly you're like, how did the Bucks get up by 2 scores? The Rams can keep it close because of my boy Darius Williams and Jalen Ramsey, so I don't think Tom Brady goes off either, and it's relatively close, but ultimately I trust the Bucks to win this game, and by enough points really, so that everyone in Tampa is happy if they pick the Bucks. What about you, Cynthia?
Okay, so right now you're going to see 26 to 22, which is 4, which is exactly the same as kind of where everyone else thinks they might be. But you got to wait and see if Ali Marpet is going to play or not. Right now, it doesn't look like he's going to, which then makes it a slightly closer game, as in a 3-point win only for the Bucs. But if Ali Marpet is playing, then that number gets to be 5 or 6, because O-line matters, because Jared Goff doesn't have Andrew Whitworth, and Todd Bowles is going to dial up that pressure on their defense. So in other words, if Ali Marpet is playing, it will be a much better situation for the Bucs. If not, closer game for the Rams. Hawk, what do you have?
I'm going against the grain here. I'm going lone hawk. I'm going with the Rams. It's just something in my spirit. I'm going to go with my gut on this one, which the model is probably laughing at right now. But I'm going with the Rams. I do think this is a better team than we've given them credit for throughout the season, and not just in this game. I think this could be a game that, they catch the Bucs by surprise a little bit. I mean, their defense is legit. Aaron Donald is going to put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady, and we've seen, like the game against the Bears, when that happens, things don't go as planned for the Buccaneers. And, with Jalen in the back end, there's a real opportunity to limit this explosive Bucs offense. Okay, next up, we're going Packers at Colts. The Colts are favored in this one by 1.5. I am going with the Packers. The Colts played really well last week, but I've questioned them all season long, and I had to take everything out of it and just look at these two teams and their body of work. Yes, there's been some up and down for both of them. When I look at the teams that the Colts have played, they're not very good. Yes, they have a number 1 defense, but they haven't played great teams. And if you're saying, hey, which team is better, I just got to go with the Packers. And for that reason, that's why I'm sticking with Green Bay. Cynthia, what do you got?
I too have Green Bay. I have a 3-point win. This is one of my finest, 27-24. And by the way, Hawk, the model doesn't laugh at your picks. It only laughs at spelling errors. So just so you know, spelling errors are really the thing that the model makes fun of. When it comes to this one, though, it's all about who's healthy when, what's going on trajectory-wise. You're totally right. If you were to say, do you really think the Colts defense is better than the Steelers? The answer is not so much. Why? Because they have such a great balance of how the Steelers get it done. So in other words, that Green Bay offense, with their ability to run, pass, a lot of passing options, getting healthier in the passing game, it's not so good news for a defense that is very good, but not quite as good as the numbers might look. Greg?
Well, I'm laughing at your pick, Hawk. I'm laughing at you trying to make Lone Hawk a thing. No, I'm just kidding. I like Lone Hawk. I wish I'd thought of something like that. That's nice. But I'm also feeling good because I have the Colts in this game. I'm out on an island. I have the favorite. That feels like good strategy. And if you give Phillip Rivers some time, he can deliver the ball to my boy Naheem Hines, and he can make it happen. Michael Pittman also played pretty well, and the last time we saw the Colts, they're getting a little more juice on offense, and the Packers defense is really the reason I'm picking the Colts in this game. They have not been as good as they were up front, and so if Phillip Rivers has time, I could be catching up. I feel like this is the week I'm either going to be buried for good or I'm catching up because I feel like I'm out on an island quite a bit. Let's go to Denver. We got the Dolphins and the Broncos. Dolphins are on the road. This is one of those games where I look at who's favored. It's the Dolphins by 3.5, and I think, what am I missing? Because the Dolphins are way better than the Broncos, and this is a perfect matchup for their defense to get after Drew Lock, make Drew Lock make a lot of mistakes. He's been on the injury report, and I think this should be a blowout, and maybe I'm trusting the Dolphins too much to be that kind of team who wins games that they're supposed to. But, man, they've been consistent. I feel great about this one. I have the Dolphins winning by 8 points. And I feel even better because I know Cynthia agrees with me this week.
I do. I have a 6-point win for the Dolphins. This is one of my finest. I, too, don't understand why it's not more tipped in the favor of Miami. But I think that one of the reasons might be because they've had a lot of injuries at the running back position. And you could take Salvon Ahmed in fantasy if he's available because this is a great opportunity for him. One, the volume seems to be there. And two, the opportunity against this defense that has given up a bunch of yards to running back also there. So in this case, I think this is one of those situations where Tua and kind of all of his available options, including Jakeem Grant, would be great fantasy options this week. Huh?
I love it. I'm going with the Dolphins too. I mean, just Drew Lock, love him as a guy, love him as a person. He has not played well this season. You know, like really bad, like towards the bottom 5 in the NFL. Okay, and on the other side, where they made the decision to go with Tua and start that era. We don't even question the fact that they benched Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was playing really good. And it's because of how well Tua has played. The Dolphins team is playing good all around the ball, so I'm absolutely sticking with them. All right, next up, we're looking at a full screen of all of our picks, the games we did not get to. Not really any outliers here. We're all aligned there. Anything sticking out to you guys here?
Yeah, we should mention Teddy Bridgewater, as we're taping, is uncertain to start. He did take some warm-ups. He apparently looked a little ginger. Like, if Teddy Bridgewater is 100% healthy, I would take the Panthers in this game. I don't feel good about him, even if he plays, because he's not 100%. But the Lions are very banged up, too. I know you don't feel good about your Lions as a favorite.
No, I hate that pick. I don't like it with any of that. And I do think you could take the Chargers defense if you're looking for a defense. You could also consider the Bengals defense. I know I had to play them in one of my leagues as well.
All right, well, we're going to go to a little break here. Who we got walking in? We got Taysom Hill. We got a Taysom Hill alert, people.
Oh, boy. Doesn't
that
look
looks like
he's
a running
ginger.
back. That doesn't look like a quarterback.
I was going to say,
Doesn't look like he's looking
strong.
ginger. He's looking strong.
Goodness gracious.
dab is my favorite part. I don't hold them right to dab. Okay, more or less than 50 points when Alvin Kamara takes on the Falcons. Yes or no?
Go more.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wait,
Okay.
you're putting the red up, Hawk. That's a penalty. 15 yards, more or less. I'm still going more. It's an offensive year. Hashtag team more all season long.
I think it's going to be a weird one, and I think it's going to be fun at the end, and I think we go a lot of points in this one. Okay, next up, Titans at Ravens, more or less than 55-0 points. What say you, friends?
Ooh, that's high. But I'm still gonna go more.
I feel like that's high. I feel
You
like
talked
that's
about
high.
all those pieces missing on defense.
I know, man. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot, though. So I could see this being a slugfest.
You can score. You can score when you're running. These teams can for sure.
True.
You can score when you're running. Okay, next one. On Monday night, are we going to see Rams at Bucks, more or less than 48? That's 48 points. Two good defenses. More or less than 48. Why lower, G? G?
Well, you know what? I was right at 47, 26-21, and they moved it since we last did a show. So now I can safely. I think these are two of the best defenses in the league.
I think they are too, but I also think they're pretty good offenses as well. All right, fine. Well, I guess that's it.
All right. Well, that's our more or less. I was against the smarter people on the show, so I don't feel good about it. But that does it for us today on Game Day View, presented by Mercedes-Benz. We will see you next time. Same time, same place. Thank you, Cynthia. That's how you spell
got it.
I figured it out. We all got smarter today. You guys got smarter. We got smarter. You name it. Check this out. Joe Burrow, he doesn't need to get smarter. He knows what he's doing.
He matches his outfit so well.
Bengal orange.
Warming up safely.
Gotta love it.
I like